Hello guys, welcome back. Another day, I'm going to be talking about 10 NHL players who I think could be traded this offseason. This NHL offseason should be filled to the brim with trades, but which 10 NHL players do I think will get traded this summer? Watch till the end to find out. Now, I had no shortage of players to choose from. The rumor mill in the NHL is already cycling, and we aren't even done with the NHL playoffs yet. There's a ton of players that could be traded this offseason for sure. Now, keep in mind, in this video, that there's no particular order when it comes to these 10 players, but I think these 10 players will be traded in this NHL offseason, so let's get right into it. We're going to start right out with a bang, and for the first player who I think will get traded this NHL offseason, I have Jacob Trouba. He is a defenseman at age 25 with the Winnipeg Jets. He ended up playing 82 games this season, getting 8 goals, 42 assists for 50 points. And Jacob Trouba is a solid top 4 defenseman that has a lot of value on the trade market. We've already seen some big trade rumors negotiating there. Now, he is an RFA. His contract just ended. He went into arbitration last year, so he is still an RFA, and there's a lot of teams that could still use him. Out of the teams that was linked to Jacob Trouba, you got the Toronto Maple Leafs, New York Rangers, the Detroit Red Wings, and the Philadelphia Flyers. Those are the main 4 teams going after Jacob Trouba, and those make sense. When it comes to the most likely bet, I kind of see the New York Rangers as a pretty good fit for him. While they are an upcoming team, Jacob Trouba is still pretty young at age 25. When they get good and when those prospects do come into fruition, he'll still be relatively young for defensemen and will definitely help out their rebuild. Going on to the second player who I think will get traded in this NHL offseason, I have Ryan Callahan. He's a right winger, age 34. With his Tampa Bay Lightning, ended up playing 52 games this season, getting 7 goals, 10 assists for 17 points. When it comes to Ryan Callahan, he's a grinder pretty much at this point, but he still has a lot of cap on his deal and a cap contract that Tampa really needs to get rid of. Now, Callahan was mostly linked to the Buffalo Sabres, the New York Rangers, and the Arizona Coyotes, but the main linkage there was the Buffalo Sabres. That's the linkage that has really been reported a lot, especially in the last couple of weeks, and it makes a lot of sense. With the Buffalo Sabres, they need all the depth they can get, especially on the forward end, and Ryan Callahan can provide that. He can provide some leadership, and can provide the leadership that Buffalo and a lot of the younger guys on that team do need. So, there is a connection there. If I'm willing to bet on a team that he goes to, I would say the Buffalo Sabres. Going on to the third player who I think will get traded in this NHL offseason, I have Adam Larsson. He's a defenseman at age 26 with the Edmonton Oilers. He ended up playing 82 games this season, getting 3 goals, 17 assists for 20 points. And Adam Larsson, again, has regressed a little bit. He's not the best defenseman in the world, but is pretty solid defensively, and that's something, especially a defensive defenseman, that a lot of teams need right now. Now, he has a $4.17 million deal for 2 more years, so that is a big contract to take on for whoever gets him. The main teams that have been linked are the Philadelphia Flyers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Ottawa Senators, and those are some solid fits. For teams that need a defensive defenseman that is not relied upon to be a power play guy or anything, I think he can be a useful, albeit expensive, but useful defenseman in the future. Moving on to the fourth player that I think will be traded in this NHL offseason, I have Jonathan Quick. He's the old goaltender on this top 10. But I think he is a definite candidate to get traded. He's at age 33. In the 2018-2019 season with the LA Kings, he ended up playing 46 games, getting a 3.38 goals against average and a .888 save percentage. And as some of you guys know, Jonathan Quick is my favorite goaltender in the league. I think he's a solid goaltender in his career. The last year was obviously not a great one for him, and he could be a rebound candidate as soon as next season. Now, a big problem when it comes to Jonathan Quick is the injury bug. It's a big reason why Jack Campbell got the opportunity that he did, is because Quick, in the last couple of years at least, has not been able to stay too much healthy, which is a problem when you're taking a $5.8 million deal for the next 4 years. And that contract runs till he's age 37. It's a long one to take on, but for a team that needs a goaltender, it can work. Now, for the teams I think are considering him and or at least considering going after him, are the Calgary Flames, the Buffalo Sabres, and New Jersey Devils. All teams that kind of need a long-term solution in goaltending. An expensive one again, but if he is healthy, he can be solid. Now, for the fifth player that might be traded in this NHL offseason, I have Colin Miller. He's a defenseman with the Vegas Golden Knights at age 26. With this year with Vegas, he ended up playing 65 games, getting 3 goals, 26 assists for 29 points. And he was scratched a couple of times in the playoffs, but I don't really see a reason why. He's a fantastic defenseman and will be a top 4 defenseman on a lot of different teams. And when it comes to his contract, he has, I think, 3.8 for, the next couple of years. So it is a little bit of a commitment, but for a team needing a top 4 defenseman, he's an easy solution and likely a cheap one. The teams that I think are linked to him are the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Philadelphia Flyers, the New York Rangers, and the New Jersey Devils. And when it comes to the most likely outcome out of any of those, I think it might be the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think Kyle Dubas is a huge fan of defensemen like that, as he should be. Colin Miller is a fantastic defenseman who is still relatively young, pretty much in the middle of his prime. And again, I think it's a relatively cheap deal to get, and for Toronto, I think it's an easy fix to shore up that entire defense. Moving on to the sixth player who I think will get traded in this NHL offseason, I have TJ Brodie. He's a defenseman at age 29, though. With the Calgary Flames, he had a little bit of an up and down season. He played 79 games, getting 9 goals, 24 assists for 35 points. When it comes to TJ Brodie, he had a little bit of a rough year, especially defensively, I felt. Offensively, he has a lot of solid tools, and the buck skills are definitely there. I think he can be a top 4 defenseman on a lot of different teams. There's a lot of different teams that should want that type of player. And when it comes to TJ Brodie, he has 1 year left at $4.65 million. So it's a little bit expensive, but if you're going to get a top 4 defenseman, that's about what you pay for him. The teams that I think will be going after him are the Philadelphia Flyers, the Chicago Blackhawks, and the New Jersey Devils. And when it comes to the teams that might get him, I like the New Jersey Devils fit. Again, New Jersey, Taylor Hall said and called him out saying that they need to get better if he wants to come back. And getting a guy like TJ Brodie on that defense, I think would help them quite a bit. While he wouldn't be their long-term answer, he wouldn't be the guy to save that defense necessarily, he'll still be a decent add and a top 4 defenseman they need right now. Next up, the 7th player who I think will get traded in this NHL offseason, I have Jason Zucker. He's a left winger at age 27. With the Minnesota Wild, he ended up playing 81 games, getting 21 goals, 21 assists for an even 42 points. When it comes to Jason Zucker, he has $5.5 million for 4 more years. And when it comes to Jason Zucker, he has been all over the trade rumors throughout this whole offseason, basically. There was that one Kessel trade that involved him that did go down, and it was declined. So he is still out there, and there are some amazing options that he could go to. When it comes to what teams are interested in him, we have some public answers, really. You got the Buffalo Sabres, you got the Pittsburgh Penguins, you got the Calgary Flames, you got the Vancouver Canucks. When it comes to where he might go, though, I like the Buffalo fit, though. I feel like with Buffalo, they're going to go a little bit, I think, aggressive in this offseason. And even a guy like Jason Zucker, he wouldn't be too expensive and would be a solid add into that top 6. I think I would probably predict him to go to Buffalo, and we've seen them go after him in the last couple of weeks. Now, on to the 8th player who I think will get traded in this NHL offseason, I have Patrick Marleau. He's a left winger at age 39. With the Toronto Maple Leafs, he ended up playing 82 games full season, getting 16 goals, 21 assists for 37 points. When it comes to Marleau, he has 1 more year left at $6.25 million. And with the Toronto Maple Leafs, while that isn't the worst contract in the world, it's one that's biting them right now. They need that extra cap space, and getting a guy like Patrick Marleau away from them would do a solid job at that. Now, just like Jason Zucker, we know which teams are going after Patrick Marleau. You got the Arizona Coyotes, the Los Angeles Kings, the Anaheim Ducks. Those are some teams that he wants to go to. His family is moving back to California, so we know that he wants to go back to the West Coast. Again, one of those few teams I think is the perfect fit there. While they're not amazing teams by any means, Patrick Marleau, again, wants to go back to his family, and that's where they are. Now, on to the 9th player who I think will get traded in this NHL offseason, I have Jared Spurgeon. He is a defenseman with the Minnesota Wild at age 29. With Minnesota, he ended up playing 82 games this season, getting 14 goals, 29 assists for 43 points, having a very solid year for sure. And Minnesota is in this kind of rebuild / contending mode, which never works for any team ever, but they're trying it, I guess. Paul Fenton has been a little bit crazy in his time in Minnesota, and trading a guy like Jared Spurgeon would definitely fit that bill. Jared Spurgeon has 1 year left on his deal at age 29. He has a 5.19 cap hit, and I think trading a guy like Jared Spurgeon would be a big mistake for the Minnesota Wild. While they're in this rebuilding phase, they also want to get guys like Phil Kessel, so I don't know what they're doing in all honesty. Jared Spurgeon, though, is a very solid top 4, maybe even top 3 defenseman in the NHL for a lot of different teams, and of course when it comes to defensemen, especially on this list, a lot of teams need that. When it comes to potential teams that might go after him, you got the Philadelphia Flyers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the New Jersey Devils. Now, I like the fit on Philadelphia for Jared Spurgeon, especially if they're going to trade a guy like a Shane Gostisbehere, which would be absolutely insane if they did. But if they did, adding a guy like Jared Spurgeon would do a pretty decent job of replacing his offensive production. When it comes to Jared Spurgeon, he has excellent offensive skills and does a lot for that Minnesota Wild team, especially on the back end. Adding a guy like that to that already pretty okay Philadelphia blue line would do a lot of wonders for them them and could lead them to the playoffs. Now, on to the 10th player who I think will get traded in this NHL offseason. I have Kyle Turris. He's a center at age 29 with the Nashville Predators. He has been all but a fit. Absolutely horrendous year. Ended up playing 55 games, getting 7 goals, 16 assists for 23 points. And I'm not kidding. That is what he got. I was kind of shocked. I didn't really see his stats before this, but 23 points. It is just absolutely insane for a guy that was looking so good with the Ottawa Senators. It looked like a pretty solid fit for the Nashville Predators, but he never gelled there. From start to finish, he was just never a fit. I think Nashville will definitely look to trade him this offseason. Now, Kyle Turris has 5 years left at $6 million, so he's not cheap whatsoever, and Nashville cannot afford that contract for that lackluster production. So I feel like that's one of the guys that they'll look to move. Nashville, I think, is going to be pretty aggressive in this offseason to get better players and better fits on their team. We already saw PK Subban being floated around the rumors of that possibly being a trade in and of itself, but a guy like Kyle Turris, I think, is on the odd outs. I think he'll be out of Nashville as soon as maybe in the next couple of weeks, and could be traded as soon as the NHL draft. When it comes to the main teams linked to Kyle Turris, the main ones being the Ottawa Senators, the Buffalo Sabres, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and possibly the Montreal Canadiens. Now, out of all those 4 teams, I like the Buffalo fit as well. Now, especially if they don't get a guy like Jason Zucker, the guy that they're probably looking at the most, if they don't get a forward like that, I feel like a guy like Kyle Turris is a solid fit for them. Again, they want to be aggressive in this offseason, they want to get some better forward help, and then a guy like Kyle Turris, while his production is obviously lackluster, he still will be a great help, and they can afford it. This NHL offseason should be absolutely insane. When it comes to trades, when it comes to signings, there should be a lot of new players on different teams next season. And for the 10 players who I mentioned in this video, I think they'll be a part of that. Of course, with this video, I need to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. So let me know what you think about my top 10 players to get traded in this offseason. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Let me know. And of course, the question on to you. Which players do you think will get traded this offseason? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you can click on this card right here to watch my video about the latest Toronto Maple Leafs rumors involving Patrick Marleau, Nazem Kadri, Kasperi Kapanen, and Akita Zaitsev. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on my top 10 and which players you think will get traded this summer. And I'll see you guys next video or stream. Goodbye.